What's happening, spreads? I hope you're all well. So I'm back in Coventry. I've been in Leeds today, guys, with Joel Cooke, as you know. There was no internet connection, so I couldn't do any live footage, unfortunately. But I have got a lot of content that I'm going to be putting together, and the video will be out for this over the next week. So keep your eye out for that one. What I have got is a podcast chat that me and Joel did, which will follow this video, where I ask Joel all about spray machines, spray rendering, his thoughts on the evolution of the rendering trade in general. He talks about pre-bagged render. There's a lot of good stuff that he talks about in this chat. So have a listen to this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But today, Joel's given me a bit of an intensive crash course on spray rendering machines. I had to go spraying some HB12, I believe it was called. Yeah, HB12. I've never sprayed any render product in my life, guys. As you know, I'm predominantly internal, but I do sand and cement rendering. And I would describe HB12 as a kind of lightweight sand and cement for anybody watching that like me, has never experienced any of the lightweight polymer renders or spray render. But putting it on the wall was actually really eye-opening. I took some footage of me putting it on for the first time, and Joel said I did a pretty good job considering I'd never done it before. But I was impressed with how wet the material was, but how thick we could get it on, which was around about 6 or 7 mil. So yeah, everything was obviously different, new, and not stuff that I'm used to doing. So it's really interesting. Anybody that's considering learning more about these spray machines, or they're looking to maybe purchase one, this video is going to be really helpful for yourself. Joel's actually put together a Facebook group dedicated to spray machine, spray rendering, and just the rendering trade in general. So if you're a renderer watching this, I'll put a link in the description. Hit that link, you can go and join Joel's Facebook group. It's called Renovation Hub. And again, it's going to be a really good group, positive. It's built for helping, training, and just passing down knowledge, again, for people that are looking to get into the rendering market and potentially buy one of these machines. So keep your eye out for this video that's up and coming. Join Joel's Facebook group and let me know what you think to the podcast chat. Have a good one, and we'll speak to you soon. Today I've come to Bradford to meet this man, Mr. Joel Cooke. Joel's been running me through a lot of the rendering machines that you've seen earlier, the Predator range. And we thought we'd just take a little bit of time out today just to have a little bit of a chat on rendering and how Joel's got involved with the Predator range and what it's all about. So Joel, can you tell us a bit more about the Predator range, how you got involved with it, and what all the fuss is about?
Yeah, sort of fuss. That's what it is. It's going to be a fuss. That's, you know what, I got involved with these guys by basically, I come down to look at a machine that they had for sale, and I needed to check a few things on it. So I come down to see Dave Anderson, and I wanted to see if it did a couple of things that I wanted it to do. And I come down and I worked with Dave for a bit, telling him what I wanted. This is what I wanted. And he changed some bits on it, some parts. And I looked at this, I looked at that, and I said, right, that's how we want it. And I used it. And I take truth, I was over at mum with it. And I just was like, yeah, that's how I want it. So I was going to get the machine. And then, so I took it away. And then what I've done since then is I've been in, I've used some other machine, stuff like that, and we just kept having conversations. Yeah. Me and the gaffer who owns it, we were having conversations about it, and obviously I've shared some content on it, and they got a good feedback from it. So he just said, how would you feel about coming inside and working with us on it and helping us develop it? And that's how it went from there. Just simple conversations to they really appreciated the feedback I'd give on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was just natural, really. It was just kind of like, can you cover this part for us? And I said, yeah.
So you've sort of helped them fine-tune the machine to how a renderer would need it to work perfect on site.
So that's it. It's like with machines and that, it's like, obviously I'm an end user, so I'm a person who actually uses these every day. I know what we need them to do. I know what works. I know what don't. I know what's unnecessary. I know, I know stuff that I would like to be added to it. So that's kind of like, they were like so happy to receive that, from me.
Yeah.
And that's where, we work well together in that sense. If something's a novelty or something's not good, I'll say, you know what I mean? Or if something needs changing or they've done something that's great, I'm like, yeah, that's what we want. That's mint.
Yeah.
So awesome. That's how we've been doing it. So it's been good.
Fantastic. Been good. And as far as your rendering career, I mean, we've done chats before. You've been on the podcast. We know your backstory, but for people that are watching and they're thinking, I want to get involved with this rendering, I want to get involved with these machines, what would be a good starting machine in your opinion? Would it depend on what material that they want to use? I mean, we spoke about, you know, the different ranges outside.
Yeah.
But I mean, what sort of money would they need, for example, to invest up front if they want to get involved?
Right. Okay. So with that, there's quite a few things I could say on that. But we offer at Predator, we offer finance through our company. They can arrange finance. I don't deal with that part of it, but I know that we've got a proper finance team here that can help people with that. So if money is the issue with splashing out in money, sometimes you might not have to. So you can talk about that. That's an option.
Okay.
But for a machine outright, something like the Optimix is $4,500 plus that, and then you've got like the Sprinter, which comes in just under $8,000, I think. And again, these are like not entry level, but these are what everyone's using around them ranges. Do you know what I mean? Of them machines.
Yeah, yeah. So, but the fact you can spread the cost, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about. You've had a team of lads before.
Yeah.
If you were to invest in one of these machines, would it mean that you might be able to have a sort of scale down, so it's just yourself and a labourer?
Yeah.
So if you were hitting a big gable end, for example, you could comfortably do that on your own with a machine?
So I've done a gable end with me and one other guy. I've done a big gable end with me and another guy.
Yeah.
So we're talking 50, 60 meters.
Okay. And that's one lad feeding the machine and you
one guy on the machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Me on the spraying and the ruling. Obviously, when I finish spraying a lift, they come up and help you rule up. But I would do a majority of it. Not a problem. The hardest part of doing a gable end is getting it on the wall.
Yeah,
That's the hardest part, mate.
I mean, so I've just had a little go for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
You said I did a pretty decent job of it. Yeah. I'm used to using the Hawk and Trowel, so I was a bit chuffed with that when you said it looked all right.
Yeah, it was sound.
How much training would you say, as a plasterer and a renderer, how much training would you say is necessary for people that are getting involved with this machine rendering? Are we talking like half hour, an hour?
No,
do you feel more?
Yeah, you need more. I mean, when it comes to training on machines, it's like I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. You know how to render or plaster. You know how to use a trowel. You know how to use a rule and a derby. All it is I'm going to show people that when you put it through a machine, I'm going to tell you that you need to change techniques. That's all it is. And it's really hard. I think in our trade, when you've done something so long, something a certain way for so long, it's hard.
It's hard to break a habit.
It's hard to break a habit.
Yeah,
The only way I find to break a habit or to get someone to work a bit more efficient and better is for me to show them. So when you come get a machine off of us, we're setting up an actual training bay where we're actually going to offer training anyway, but it's for people who buy machines as well. And I'm going to actually show you how to treat the render through a machine rather than hand apply, because it's totally different game. You know, so as well as showing you how the machine works and, you know, what they're used for, I want to show you how to work with the material once it's being applied as well, because that's the big thing. It's a big thing. It's totally different game. We have it so much wetter. You know what I mean? We cover so much area before we go back and even touch it.
I noticed it was a lot wetter than you'd normally knock up, definitely.
Would you have tried to put it on that wet by hand?
Absolutely not. It'd be all over the floor in about 10 minutes.
There you go.
So you mentioned outside earlier about the wear on the body. I asked you that question. But would you say that's the biggest selling point moving over from hand application to machine application? Would you say that's the biggest factor in it?
I'd say it's one of them. It's one of the main ones. I reckon there's two main ones why I'd say going from hand apply to spray apply, machine applies, because your body is, you know, our job is so physical. It's like having a workout for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's what it's like doing. And your body's not made to do that. Well, it can. Your body can do many things, but parts start to wear. Elbows, knees, arms, backs. This is what happens.
Yeah.
With a machine, we're eliminating a lot of that. A lot of it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And that is one of the main things. The other part is, obviously, we can do more. The machine's more consistent. We could put more area on, which means more money. So they're the two things.
It's like the evolution of plastering and rendering, isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing that hasn't changed is the shape of the. I was thinking this the other day. You know, the shape of the trowel.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to evolve, but a lot of things have evolved. The paddle mixer.
Yeah.
These spray machines. I mean, what about earning potential, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're a lad on your own with a labourer and you're doing rendering day in and day out, hand application, what would you say? I mean, it's hard to throw out figures, but in terms of earning potential, because it's a big investment, isn't it? Buying one of these machines. Are we talking, double the amount that you could earn potentially, or would you say
possibly,
more?
Yeah, it could be more. You're definitely going to do more, as in
you're going to get more on the wall in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, 100%. You are. Obviously, you've got to understand when you put your render on a wall, you've still got to look after it. So there is that aspect as well. So it's not just like let's just lash it on. But let's just say you've got a bigger team, right? Instead of say we've got a 2-man team, we could put a decent sized panel on that day and look after it, no problem. It'll be an easy day. If I've got a 3-man team, I can put on 2 panels that day and look after it. If I've got a 3-man team, on 3 men ruling and 1 man on the machine, we're putting a full house on in a day, and we're looking after it. That's the difference. That's the earning potential. So if you look at it from a wages point of view, if I want to take it steady weight, it'll take me 5 days for me and a labourer to do a house base coating. For me and my labourer, 5 days, steady days, nicely. But if I've got a team and I want to get onto the next job and bash it out, you think about it. You're not paying a full week for them people. You're paying a day or 2. And it's on. And we're on to the next. And that's where I think it benefits people. So if you have got a bigger team, it still can benefit. I think it still benefits you because you can put more on.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And if you're on your own with a labourer, you're buzzing again because it's just nice. I'm spraying on and, having a doddle, site's clean. It's lovely. I enjoy it with just me and my labourer.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a little 5 minutes there. And what was good is that you're not working up a sweat.
No.
So, but back to the evolution of rendering. You know yourself, back in the day, old school spreads, you'd be gauging on site. So you'd be, you might have a pile of sand, you'd add your cement and multiple other products would go in there, retarders, plasticizers, lime, and everything would be gauged, and it had to be, I suppose you're relying on the renderer to get that gauge right and correct, which will give the longevity of the products that's on the wall. Now, everything today is pre-bagged. You spoke a bit about this on your live this week. Could you talk to us about why you think pre-bag gear today is a better option for gauging on site?
Yeah, because I think pre-bagged gear now, I've been to factories, I've been to EcoRend, and I've seen how it's actually made. I've seen what goes into it. I've seen how they have people with white coats up there who are putting all these ingredients into our bags, right? Into a formula to make it perfect, to make it hang around for a certain amount of time, to make it set so hard, to make it bind better together, to make it stick more to the wall, all these type of things, to make it breathable, to make it permeable. It's done by scientists, and they do it in white coats. And then what they do is they put it to us in a bag. I don't have to add anything to it. It's perfect as it is. So it's like, we're not leaving this down to human error, whereas the labourer might have forgot to put a scoop of lime in here, or he might have forgot to put some fibres in it or whatever. And it's going to be different. It's not going to be consistent. But with the bag stuff, it's all done for us. And it's there. It's ready to go. It saves time. And ultimately, you're getting a better product.
Exactly.
The days have gone.
You can guarantee what it's going to do in any given circumstance, really.
It's done, mate. It's there, and you've got information on the guides on the back, and also when it comes to like your customers stuff, like you can give guarantees because it's from the person who produced that bag. It's done.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to mix all your stuff together and it fails, it's like, well, how did I go wrong there? You don't know, but they'll know. They'll take a test of what happened with the wall and be like, it must have been a bad batch.
Yeah.
Very rarely happens. But what I'm saying is, I'm a big believer in the science part of stuff like that, and I'm impressed by it when I've seen it.
Yeah,
what I mean.
You mentioned that you've worked on some sites in the past where they've actually banned gauging altogether.
It's starting to do it now
for this reason.
Yeah. So what's going to happen now? It's being talked about where they're going to stop people from mixing on site like that because it is kind of hazardous.
It is a risk, isn't it?
You've got loads of different things around you. People don't really realise, but you can get burnt from lime and stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm just thinking, you're relying on a labourer, which, no disrespect to labourers, you're relying on them to get that mix correct.
Yeah.
If they don't put enough cement in, for example, that's just weakened your mix.
Massively.
And potentially, it's a potential callback, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So with the bagged renders and the systems that are out there now, they give you a system, they give you a guide to go to, and everything's formulated from the base coat to the primer. It's all formulated to bind together to make it a better finish.
Yes.
And that for me is like, that's vital, because we're giving someone a product that they're paying a lot of money for. I want to make sure that they're getting it perfect.
Yes.
That's it. So I love it. I think it's great. I've done sand and cement, and I've done loads of stuff like that back in the day, with damp proofing and stuff. And it's a skill. I think it's a skill, but there's always that worry: have I mixed it right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
absolutely. Okay. Now you've just put your group together, the Renovate Hub on Facebook.
Yeah.
What's the group all about, and how can it help potential new lads coming into rendering? What's the group all about?
So what it is, it's basically, I wanted to put a place together that's specifically for people who are getting into rendering and machine rendering. It all started because I basically, I share a lot of content on my machine rendering jobs, share content on my rendering houses and stuff like that, and I get like inundated with questions and all the time, stuff like that. So I just thought I didn't want to flood your Trowel Talk group, mate. Even though I go on there and I help everyone out on there as well.
No, you do.
But I didn't want to flood it with all of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a plastering group and it does everything. So I thought if I just have one foot rendering, that's what it is. And like I say, it works vice versa with both of us. I've sent people to Trowel Talk to get information from
appreciate
there.
that. Yeah.
People like Mark Neeson. Someone put something to me like about sand and cement. I'm like, Mark Neeson, mate. Straight away.
Yeah.
That you need to go check him out.
I know that you're just a fountain of knowledge and help, because I've had lads that are on Trowel Talk. They've contacted me and said, I've been on the phone to Joel for an hour this morning.
Yeah.
And he's just basically walked me through this problem that I've had on site. So I know what you're all about, and that's why I'm happy to to signpost lads that are on Trowel Talk.
Yeah.
Jump onto Renovate Hub, guys, if you're interested in learning more on this. I hope you've enjoyed the content today. Joel, anything else you want to add to this podcast before we shoot?
Oh, really? Just the same thing that I always say. Like, I'm glad to meet you. I'm buzzing for you to come up. I've been buzzing that with Trowel Talk. I'm only part of that group and my group on Facebook, because it's a great group. You've got great people. It's managed good. So I take my hat off to people like you, all your admin staff there with Matt Neeson and that again. They just make the environment that I always wished I had when I was coming up. Yeah. I've been on all the old plastering groups, and if you ask a question, you get smashed. And I just think to myself, like, blimey. But on what we're doing now, you guys on Trowel Talk, what we try to do Renovate Hub is basically show people that we can give you help and advice, and you do need to learn, and you have got a group of people there who can support you. So for me, I'm just glad that you come up. Good to meet you. I've talked to you for a long time, Anna.
It's been a good day. Yeah, we've had a really intensive day today, guys. You'll enjoy this video that's coming out as well.
Yeah, man.
On these machines. Joel Cooke, it's been a pleasure.
Legend.
Good to meet you.
Thanks, man.